Hey everybody, my name is Kevin Dugan from Altus Property Partners, and I'm going to talk about one of the most common conversations that I end up having with board members, and it usually starts the same way. Board member will say something like, we've been with our property management company for 5 to 10 years, and lately things don't just seem to be working the way that they should be. And what's interesting is that in most cases, the decision to replace a management company rarely comes from just one major failure. It usually is a series of smaller frustrations that build up slowly over time. So today, I want to walk through some of the most common reasons why HOA boards ultimately decide to make this switch. The first one, more often than not, the first problem that boards experience is communication. So this means that you're sending emails that aren't being responded to. Owners are saying that they haven't heard of anybody from the management company, or they're making requests, they call in, they can't get a hold of anybody. Maintenance problems are clearly building up, and all those small projects are becoming bigger problems. Sometimes you go into meetings for the board and there isn't preparation for those meetings. So all these are little breakdowns in communication. Really, when it comes to communication, it starts with small operational issues that eventually become bigger problems than they actually are. What I wanted to really bring up here is you as a board member, you're volunteers. You have careers, families, responsibilities outside of managing the building. And when the communication breaks down between you and your management firm, it feels like you're going to be spending all the time doing the work yourself. You're managing problems that you hired a professional to do. So when a management company reacts to emails, that's not a communication strategy. That's bad operations. The next problem we hear time and time again is really related to maintenance, and those frustrations, once again, are not overnight. Maintenance is one of the most visible parts of property management. So when a request goes in and it drags on and you don't see results, when the vendors don't show up on time or at all, when repairs happen on an association and you can't explain why you're getting billed for it or why the results didn't actually yield what you're paying for, that means that your board will typically feel uncertain about what's going on with that management company, what's going on behind the scenes. So we really believe in preventative maintenance. You don't want to just react to maintenance when things break. You want to make sure that you're being proactive and looking at the building from the standpoint of catching small problems before they become big issues. And the last thing you want to do is, as a board member, have to repeat yourself time and time again to be able to get a result. That's when the confidence is going to erode. The next big downfall to management companies is when the financial reporting shows flaws. The financials really explain clarity about how the health of an association is performing. So what that means is boards should receive regular updates in terms of delinquencies of owners and whether or not we should move those files into the collection side. You should have reports and access to reports to be able to see what the expenses are going on regularly. Bill approval for expenses over certain thresholds. And what I mean by this is if you don't have a strong accounting department that's supporting the managers, oftentimes there's going to be delays in entering the association dues. There's going to be delays in paying the vendors and they're going to get upset. There's going to be oversights and variances where you go over budget. And all of these micro mistakes on the financials show cracks in the foundation of how a property is being operated. So the financials should really help leadership understand what's going on in the day-to-day activity and help us as managers guide you, the board, in terms of making best decisions going forward. The next challenge that I often hear is lack of proactive leadership. So when a manager becomes reactive, once again, not able to catch up with emails, not able to handle the workload, all of a sudden those problems that could have been handled on a schedule become urgent deadlines. So planning isn't really about reacting. It should be a conversation that's happening 3 to 6 months in advance. And when it comes to capital projects, those should be happening 2 to 5 years in advance so that you're already saving money. The long-term maintenance is something where if the planning is missing, you're going to get hit with heavy assessments, special assessments some point in the future. So what are boards really looking for? When it comes to exploring a new management company, you're not just looking for something different, you're looking for a structure, you're looking for performance, you're looking for communication. You need somebody who's actually attentive, where the organization and company like ours is set up to be able to handle all the inbound tickets, whether it's a general request, it's documentation, it's a violation notice, it's a maintenance request, and that comes down to core pillars: the maintenance, the finance, as well as communication. So I know that changing management can be a very difficult decision, and oftentimes you want to keep with what you're used to. But if you see these small problems trickling up and they're getting worse, where the maintenance isn't getting done properly, you're not handling the projects, the communication is intermittent at best, the financials are disarray, that means leadership is really breaking down and the managers aren't being supported to be able to support your building. So with that being said, look for some of these key factors. If they're getting worse over time, it may be a spot where you need to look for a new property management. And with that, my name is Kevin Dugan from Altus Property Partners. Take care.